What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Daily Refinement. This is the evening mastermind call, and today we're going to talk about the 13 best tips that I got this week reselling. So I've now switched to format so that we're going live every day on YouTube, and we want to talk about best practices, goals, your schedule, what you plan on sourcing. We want to get the best. Um, information we can to help people reach their goal. Everyone that listens to my channel needs a specific goal each week, money wise and number of listings. So, as an example, $1,000 a week, 100 items at $10 profit. You need that goal. So, this week today I'm gonna give you guys the 13 best tips from this week, and let's get straight into it. If you guys have any comments or questions, throw them in the chat. Let us know what your goals are and if you guys think these are good or not. So, number one tip, which I started doing this week, which is adjusting and maintaining listings at lunch. So, one thing you can do that'll affect your sales right away is just improve the listings that you have. And more than a few people have said they do this during lunchtime. It's a nice break from listing or sourcing. Take a short break, look at your listings, oldest to newest, and just start making a few edits. You can do that with the bulk editor, or you can do it one by one and just go through the item specifics, make sure that everything is right. There's been some glitches on eBay where some information will disappear. So you want to make sure that information is in there because eBay really wants shoppers to do left-hand navigation shopping, which means clicking shoes and then size and then leather. Like they're trying to have buyers funnel down the item specifics. So you want to have as many of those put in place. So the first tip was adjusting your listings during lunchtime. And I recommend 4% a day, making 4% of an adjustment so that over the course of a month, you touch all of your items. Number two, this has been suggested to me a couple of times, which is what do you do with a death pile or a bunch of items that um, have accumulated that you haven't sold yet? So the smartest money thing to do would be to list the most profitable items first, or the most expensive items, or the items you have the most capital in, right? That would make the most sense because you can get the most money back to reinvest or the most profit. However, we may take the Dave Ramsey method and list the easiest items to list to get some momentum going. Because the hardest thing about listing is just getting started. It's the same thing with calling suppliers. The first couple of phone calls are brutal, right? People are going to say, "Why are you talking to me?" And you're basically trying to find out what is your process for becoming a reseller of your goods wholesale. If you're calling somebody and trying to become an authorized distributor of their product, the first few calls are brutal, but once you get into a groove, you can start moving. So maybe the snowball death pile method, where you list the easiest item first to get some momentum going and then accumulate your goal. Everyone listening right now, if you do 20 listings a day at $10 profit, that will change your life. But that's very hard. 20 listings a day is very strong, but that's doable. If you are really focused and you sell similar items, 20 a day is definitely possible. But again, that's going to change your life. We did an event in Kansas City where we had 300 resellers come. Of the 300, only 10 did more than 20 a day on average. Very few people actually list 100 items a week. So that's a fantastic goal. And maybe don't expect yourself to do it right away, but just as you're getting started, that's your North Star. Okay. Third one is the 20-minute penalty. If you, um, 20-minute penalty if you switch tasks. So if you go from shipping to listing, listing to photography, each time you do that, you're going to be a little discombobulated. So you may want to do all one task in a row, batch items together. Let me know what you guys think of that idea of a 20-minute penalty each time you switch tasks. And most people have attention residue, meaning when you switch to doing something else, you have the previous thing on your mind. That's why it's so damaging to check your phone when you're hanging out with people because they're like, what are you doing? Are you paying attention to our lives together? Um, Sorry, my internet is being a little wonky. Okay, next one is keeping a defect journal. This came up a couple times. So you're going to come up with, as you're grading and sorting your items, there are going to be issues with it. So now I have a clipboard and a defect pile. So I write down what's wrong with it and put it into that pile and continue. I don't stop, fix that defect because it can mess up my listing flow. There's an issue with an item. I have a defect journal now. It's brand new to my process. Throw it in there, write down what's wrong with it. Since I mainly sell shoes, I'm actually putting that sticky note inside the shoe and then putting it out of sight. Because oftentimes a defect will screw up your whole day. So it's way more than a 20-minute penalty. Sometimes if you find an item and you want to look it up, you now waste a half an hour or an hour trying to research it or something. And that's going to destroy your flow. Okay. Next one. This is tip number 5. You want to have a buying framework. Okay, so a buying framework means if I spend $1, it's got to sell for at least X. So for me, it's like 127, 228, 329. I have a different metric and I have it based on weight. So I have this written down on a chart. If it's padded flat rate, it's different. If it's a medium flat rate box, it's different. But that helps me when I'm buying speed up the process because there's only so much time. And if you go somewhere like the Goodwill outlet where it's competitive or you're going thrifting, your time is money. You're going to be spending the majority of your time driving. And this is a bonus tip. So smash the like button if you guys like this content. But Matt in the group was saying the number one most detrimental thing when he's outsourcing is using the bathroom for no reason. He's like, that's like a half an hour gone at least, exiting, going to the bathroom, or getting something to eat. He's like, I don't have time for that because he has a very strict goal of sourcing 200 items per day. He only has 2 days to source. So he's like, I can't be frivolous with my breaks. I've got to be on it. And that's tip number 6, which is potentially doing two sourcing days a week, or 1 week sourcing, 1 week listing, kind of narrowing it down. The only exception to this, in my opinion, is if you do online arbitrage. Each day, maybe you spend an hour looking for deals. That would be something you could do every day. But sourcing is brutal. So I kind of want you guys to, mix it up a little bit. Maybe Saturday and Sunday, you source and you take photographs and then you come back and knock it out. Okay. So just to review, number 1 is adjusting listings. Number 2 is the Dave Ramsey snowball method of listing, where you list the easiest thing first. 3, 20-minute penalty if you switch tasks. 4, keep a defect journal and move on to the next item. Number 5, get a buying framework chart of what you are willing to spend for items. One more thought on that. If it's a long tail item, I kind of don't count those. If, like, for example, I found a statue of the Coliseum, which is a stadium here that's going to be defunct. That is such a rare piece that it doesn't really count in my normal thing because I'm just going to wait and get full price for it. So long tail items I don't really even count. These are like the really rare home runs that are kind of cool to own until they sell. Number 6 is have a sourcing schedule. I recommend going heavy, like 2 days a week or a week on, a week off. Number 7, this is a little bit of a controversial one, which is putting hyperbole in your title. So you guys know, as you're scrolling through eBay, you'll see titles like awesome, amazing, free shipping, look, all these like facetious things that are in the title. And even though these don't rank, okay, because there's no search term for that, it does make people look at your item. So if you have replenishable items, meaning you have more than one, you may want to do that to drive a little bit more traffic to the listing. This is just kind of a super tip. Some people move that direction of actually making their customers look by putting look or amazing or rare or vintage as the first word to get people to go in. Let me know if you guys have tried that before. I think it's okay. Number 8 is a fake sale. I'm going to explain this because a lot of people don't know what this is. So on eBay, they've actually tried to combat this because it's fake, meaning you have a $100 item, you mark it up to $130, you do a 30% off sale. It looks like it's on sale. It also ranks differently if it's on sale or not. You can do different tactics, like every 48 hours, you start the sale over again. So it looks like sale ending in 48 hours, to create some urgency. There's a lot of games you can play with the fake sale. Um, Maybe a tip that some people don't know is if you have a very large store, some stores have MSRP in their listing flow. Um, there's softwares like 6-bit that you guys may want to explore. It's maybe for more commercial sellers. Um, but that allows you to put the MSRP in it, and it will automatically discount the item. So you put the MSRP 100, you put 30, it'll automatically tell eBay buyers it's 70% off. So that's a pro tip. Fake sale obviously um, generates interest and urgency. Number 9, we're almost done, guys. I'm gonna do 15 tips or 13 tips. Number 9 is potentially having 2 stores with the same items in them. This way you can A/B test. A lot of people do this. So if you find 5 of one item, store number 1 has 2, store number 2 has 3, and it's technically not a violation of eBay policy. It's against eBay policy to list the same item on 2 stores. But if you have multiples and more than one of it, then you can test different strategies. You can also gain 2 search rankings on the list when people are looking. So it's one strategy that definitely does work. Number 10, very popular, delist, relist. This is where you end items, relist them. It used to be easier when eBay had the 30-day duration. So you could wait 30 days, the item would automatically end, you would adjust it and then relist it. But now everything is good till canceled, meaning they keep charging you every 30 days, regardless if you improve your listing or not. So I recommend actually changing the listing. Don't just end it and relist it. Like, try to actually improve the offering so that people, actually want to buy your item the second time around. Number 11 is start your day by tidying up. This is the same thing for momentum. Get to work, put a few things away, super easy, builds the momentum. It's the beginning part of like lean processes, is just like get to work and start sorting, cleaning, then get into your flow. Um, One of my more popular advices has been, in an area that you're in the area that you're listing, just have one item. That's like really obvious, but will totally change your listing flow. Okay, number 12. In your environment, these have been the biggest keys for a lot of people. Comfortable. Make sure your listing space is actually comfortable. Make sure that you switch in standing or stretching, because it's gonna help. And then also no clutter. So that's the environment improvement. 13, the last one for the day, is sourcing. So when you're sourcing, I always say it's the disciplined pursuit of less but better. That's from the book Essentialism, which is one of my favorites. The concept of less but better means you only have so much time that you're going to put into your resale business. You guys should also know what that amount is: 10, 20, 30 hours a week. But each week you want to get better, because it's going to become more competitive. If you do the same thing every week, you will make less money each week. That's how reselling works. You have to always be reinventing yourself, improving your listing, or you will die. I always say you will die a horrible reselling death. Do not do the same thing every week. It doesn't work that way. Um, you want to focus on less training. So this is something people don't necessarily think about when they're sourcing. Eventually, you're going to need somebody else to help you. So you don't want to have to spend half an hour explaining to somebody how to list something. Maybe just pass on that item if it requires a lot of explanation. It's like if you ask someone if they reach their goal, the answer should be yes or no. You're going to buy it, yes or no. If the answer is maybe I should buy it because it might sell here, maybe just pass. That's going to help you eliminate a lot of the stuff that you bring home. And then also the focus on the local plug or distributor. You want to find somebody in your local area that is going to be able to supply you. As an example, you need a buying framework or people will not be able to do this. Meaning you have to let people know what it is you're looking for. An example would be, James is my full-time thrifter. He knows I'm selling stuff that's $20 profit or more. He also knows I will pay more for. We just sold the Oakland A's vintage starter jacket for I think 119, and I paid 40 for it. So I'll pay up for an item that's going to sell for more, and he knows that. He's also going to make more. I'm sure he thrifted it for $10. This helps. You have to have a buying framework with your local plug. And again, this comes down to time. They save you time by looking for items that fit what you sell. And if you have enough of those, then you can do the same similar workload each week, but make more money. Um, that's how you have to think of this, because otherwise, um, this is just not like a normal job. I think people are used to working a regular job where you get paid the same amount each week, and that's just not how reselling works. Now we're going to switch gears. We're going to go to Michelle. Michelle, thank you for joining us. Do you want to tell us where you live, what you sell, and how's it going?
Hi, thanks. Yeah, my name is Michelle. I live in Northeast Wisconsin and I sell mainly women's clothing, shoes, and accessories. Um, I don't know. What else you want to know?
Are you full time, part time?
I am mainly full time. We talked last week. I have a 1,500 square foot suite of offices that I only pay 500 a month for.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have like another part-time job where I make, roughly about $1,000 a month for like side income. But mainly I'm full-time, but I'm secondary income to my husband.
Mm. Do you have an reseller income goal?
Yeah, we talked about it last week a little bit where I would like to consistently make about 8,000 a month gross.
Okay.
And right now I am consistently doing about 5,000 a month.
Okay. And then your schedule, how many items are you listing a week? Do you know?
It varies week to week depending on what I have going on. This week, since the beginning of November, I've listed 70 items for a value of 5,300.
Nice.
Yeah, some of those items, yeah, that brings my average listing price at $76, which is not normal for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
normally between right around the $30 mark.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my consigners does um, send me some pretty high-end shoes and stuff. So I got those listed earlier this week, and that really brought that up. One thing I wanted to add when you were talking about your list of tips,
Yep.
it was brought up a couple of times in your lives about having a buffer day. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
really important. Um, Today was sort of my self-imposed buffer day. I called it a factory reset. It's
Mm.
it's sort of like I feel like when I'm focusing too much on listing and the business and there's other things that just slide or get put off to the side and those build up in the back of my head. And when it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I need a day or half a day to get caught up on a bunch of other miscellaneous things. And I put those things to the forefront and I put my normal listing routine to the back. I still did get like 6 things listed today because I'm of the conspiracy theory that Cassini likes to see, listings every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I nowhere near was I pushing it like I normally do.
Are you gonna do your factory reset day on Wednesdays, you think?
No, I usually do it like every 2 weeks. It just depends on my mood, how I'm feeling, how much stuff is sitting in the back of my head that, is kind of distracting me from getting more work done because I know I have all these other things that I have to attend to eventually. So I just do it whenever I feel it's necessary.
Okay. That's great. That is on those days, are you just resetting, or are you also taking care of odds and ends that may have fallen through the cracks?
Both.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's important. And so guys, what we the I think this buffered concept is really good, meaning it always takes longer to do what you think you're going to do. So if your goal is 100 items, maybe try to do 25, 4 days a week. So you have a buffer day. You could actually recover if one of the days you don't get 25 up. Or also, don't rest on your laurels if you get it done early. Just move. Those days that you have momentum, list as much as possible, because there's going to be days where you don't feel like it.
Yeah, or you come down with a headache or a cold or something and it knocks you out and you weren't expecting it.
That's right. Cool. So what does it take to get you from 5 to 8K?
Um, I was thinking about that because I was looking at my sell-through rate, and my sell-through rate really needs to improve. So right now, in October, my sell-through rate was 12.5%. So I really need to take a look at that and figure out how, because when you and I were talking last week, you had told me, and I do agree with you, that I could achieve 8,000 a month with the items that I have in my two stores,
Mm-hmm.
if I just improved my sell-through rate. And so I either need to figure out how to do that through pricing or better sourcing. So that's been kind of what's on the back of my brain, trying to figure that out. Because if I sold 25%, which would be the ultimate goal, that would bring me at about 400 items a month, and that would be gross sales of $12,000.
Okay. So what are you going to do to improve the sell-through rate?
I'm still thinking about that.
Okay.
Right now, I do run sales. I do the 48-hour sale method.
Mm.
Depending on the price of the item, I will either take 10 or 15% off. I used to not take best offers, but I have been putting some best offers back on. I've been accepting lower offers than what I normally would have, but then if I see that I've only got a couple bucks into it, I'm just letting it go. I'm just trying to move it and create the cash flow.
Okay. Let's switch gears to Tyronius the Wizard. What's going on? Can you hear us okay? I don't know if your mic works.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great. I don't think I've met you. So where do you live? What do you sell? How's it going?
It's going well. I didn't expect to be called out, but um, actually, you have met me down at the Reseller Fam in Kansas City.
Okay.
Um, but we started out selling pretty much anything under the sun. Um, had the whole 10K approach. Um, Pretty much at, you know, around the same time that you were doing that, I was attempting to do something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Realized pretty quickly that didn't work too well. We're actually still in the process of niching down to our uh, niche, which is kind of plastics and molded type of items. Um,
Mm. And where do you live?
oh, Nebraska. This is the very
Awesome.
southeast corner of Nebraska. Um, that's really about it. I don't have a whole lot more.
Okay, no worries. Let's go to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, good evening.
Good evening, Chris. How are you?
How's it going? What are you working on?
I got 2 auctions I'm going to this weekend. So I'm kind
Awesome.
of going through the listings, making up my spreadsheet to see what items I can pick up there.
Do you have a strategy in a sense that you wait towards the end to see when people run out of money? How do you approach the auctions? How many lots are there?
There's, I don't quite know how many lots there are, because typically when you go to like a website like Auction Zip and you search your zip code and you find an auction, they only post maybe 30% of the items that they're actually going to sell. Like they
That's
post
right.
their more big ticket items. So I've just been going through that, and I got like a spreadsheet that kind of maps out like the percentage I want to make on an item, then what I think it was going to sell for. That gives me the hammer price, at the time of the auction.
Awesome.
And for me, that number is whatever I think it's going to sell for. I just divide it by 1.52. And that's the price that I go for with the hammer.
And you said, I think you mentioned you may have auctions every week.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love it.
I mean, there's local auctions every day. I mean, you could go to them every day if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So preparing yourself for this weekend. Let's see. Have you decided how you're going to handle your listing flow, how you're going to handle listing each week, when during the day you're going to do it? Because you have a full-time job.
I just do it at night. I do 5 items, and I'm trying to get the average sale price up, and get away from, anything like under $40. I really don't want to list. Don't really want to sell.
Does your wife think you're crazy that you're talking to strangers online?
No, no, she handles all of our rental properties, so she understands.
Oh, so she's got, yeah, that's true. She's working on other
Mm-hmm.
industry. That's cool. Awesome. Doing it at night. Do you think you can get to, did we mention we were trying to do 10 per evening? 5 per evening? I think 5.
5, yeah.
That's right, 5. Guys, that's my favorite side hustle number, by the way. Five $10 items a year. I'm sorry, $10 items, profit items a day is, I think we came up with 20 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you can max out your 401k. For those of you looking for an additional way to save for retirement, 5 a day is awesome. And I would consider 20 a day a 6-figure income for people who are really running on all cylinders. The fastest way in reselling to reach that is always you can just grind it out. I call it like Navy sealing it or something. Just grit your teeth and just do it. 20 items a day of random stuff and just go find them. It's eventually you are going to burn out probably if you do that. And you want to set some time apart to basically learn things that are more replenishable and sustainable. But if you really want to earn cash right away, it would be listing as much as possible. I'm thinking about doing a Facebook group, thinking about doing some other resources, and people have been asking for. I did a podcast with Tech and Sports, which is that it was downloaded 100,000 times in a couple of weeks because he does 7 figures by himself on eBay, and people ask me what he does, and he really just lists 70 items a day. Like, that's it. There's nothing special about what he's doing. It's 100% thrifted, and the profit margin starts to shrink a little bit down to, $10 at best. But that volume is incredible. Being able to list 70 items a day means that almost every item is exactly the same. Similar item, changing a couple things, tweaking the title, list. Changing a couple things, list. You'll see he'll post on Instagram like a new listing going live like every 1 minute. And that's because all he's doing is adding in the photographs while the photos are loading. He's adjusting the titles and the description. Click, click, click. And he's doing 0 price research. That's how you get that speed. If you have to research every item and what it's going to sell for, you can't achieve that kind of pace. Cool. I love the five a day. Let's go to Samuel. Samuel, good evening. I don't know you. I don't know if your mic works, but let me know if you can chat for a few minutes.
Oh, hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Going well, going well. I'm actually on a ride on the way to HQ right now. So,
Okay.
yeah, man.
Maybe we can chat a different, or do you want to chat?
Yeah, sure, if you can hear me.
So where do you live? What do you sell?
Oh, yeah. Live in Florida, Tampa area. We sell pretty much we have a store that specializes in feminine products pretty much. And that's our best store right now. And we have a one-off store also.
Okay. So you have both a one-off and a replenishable store?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really important. Everyone should have two. The replenishable store is more like a retail, and then the one-off store is I kind of like hustle income, but it can be a business if you can get a consistent supplier and a consistent lister. I am gonna, or go ahead, Sam.
No, go ahead. No, I was agreeing with you.
Oh, I was just saying, I can't remember. This is a really silly name, but the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. T. Harv Eker says that what we need to do as business people is create a system that produces predictable, valuable or predictable value to society. So what it would be in reselling is creating systems that regularly list items online. So you would need people helping with the listing part. You need items coming in, and you always need to be doing product research.
That is true. That is true. We are planning on having we almost have like six point. That's we actually need to be successful. Is so far we already have a VA that helps us out, and and we have pictures taken care of. We need to have a system where we also have a shipping taken care of. Also, we have a shipping person, a VA, and pictures. We
Okay.
just need someone to take care of the books and also to someone to also take care of so I want to be able to be sourcing pretty much doing 100% sourcing and people take care of books, listing, pictures, and shipping and have that automated pretty much.
How many people total?
So far, it's just me and a friend, and then also we have the VA offsite, so he
Okay.
has a team.
So guys, it was a little bit soft, but the gist was Sam has help with listing. He has a VA helping with listing, and I think that they're all doing product research on what could be something next that they list. Balta is selling in the chat a lot of old electronics. I think that's a really good way to go. So Anonymous Dan is mentioning vintage items are a little bit too slow. I agree with that. I think that I was just doing some coaching today. At 2,500, I think you need a store of at least 2,500 vintage items before you start getting regular sales. And that's like a model that Scavenger Life does. They have a great podcast where their cost of goods is so low that I think that's a fantastic way to approach it, where you have, you're paying $1 to $10 per item and then just amass this huge store. If you have the space to store it, go for it. Once you get to a big enough store, sales are just going to be regular. Let's go with Bill. Bill, good evening. Thank you for joining. Can you chat for a few minutes?
Yeah, how you doing today?
Doing all right. What are you working on?
Well, today I shipped 5 boxes into Amazon, and sourcing has been a little dry here in my part of Florida
Okay.
for my Amazon practice, and we're not sure why. Some of my stores get deliveries every day, some 3 days a week. So my wife had a hunch about going to a county north in the county. Well, I hadn't been there in probably a month, and I got about 75, 80 items today from that one store.
Awesome.
So for my gourmet foods business. So I'm when we're done tonight, I'll start packaging up. I got some replenishables, and then I found some new items. It's interesting. I I've been using those retail outlets as sourcing material to go get wholesale accounts. So, if you find a bag of M&Ms at the grocery store, you call Mars Company and see if they let you sell it, basically. And I've been getting pretty good results with that. And so anyway, that's what I pretty much worked on. We did a shipment this morning, and then I went and sourced all that stuff this afternoon. During
That's
the
a
call
really
and
good
before the call.
insight.
Yeah. What's that?
Oh, it's a good insight that sometimes if it's dry in your area, it may be dry. You may want to go on to a different area.
Yep.
That's like
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
You know, the bearded picker does that. You've watched him, right, Scott?
Yeah, I have.
He goes on crazy road trips, like from Alabama to Ohio and Connecticut, and then back to Alabama. And so I just went, to the next county, and it was a little bit of a drive, but it was worth it. One store I got, I don't know, 70, 80 items. They just basically pulled everything off the delivery truck and put them on the shelves, and I happened to walk in when they were done. So I was lucky.
Were you able to get any type of relationship going with the people working there? It might be difficult in the first attempt.
Yeah, not there, but in one of the other stores I have. But they're a little. They've let me buy things off the cart, basically in full box. But the nice thing when it's in the before they rip open the boxes, it has all of the shipping information on it, so I can find the name of the distributor and just take it with me. So that's very helpful.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, Duncan, you're welcome to put your store in the chat. Duncan has a really cool store. He sells ephemera, so letters and stamps, and his store is awesome. I looked at some of the stuff and I don't understand the lingo at all, but you obviously need to understand the keywords. But vintage ephemera is very cool. There's a lot of collectibles and there's a bit of a learning curve, and that makes it's important to have a little bit of a learning curve and stuff that you sell, because it makes you a little bit safer. So Bill, yesterday on the call, I was poking fun at you because there was these 3 stores we looked at that did 100K a month, and I felt like you would never try to do what they do, which is build a store of men's clothing over 3 to 5 years. You wouldn't have the patience to build that because it just takes such a long time to painstakingly list 2,500 suits perfectly.
I would if I was financially secure.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. Because that's more of a long-term project.
A long-term project. And the mistake that I made, which I've shared with you before, is that, I think we really need to not take out more than 20 or 25% of our profits, and everything else should be plowed back in.
Yes. Yeah. Depending on your situation, of course.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah, that is important. If you're trying to grow, you're always going to be cash poor.
Yeah.
That's sort of when can I take money out and actually do something? The answer is always when you stop growing. Yeah. Not during growth, right? During growth, right. You don't have any money. And also, Anonymous Dan was asking about leveraging capital. I always see it as a multiplier. Also, when your business gets bigger, your sell-through drops. Everyone should write that down. I've never seen anybody increase sell-through rate as they get bigger. It doesn't work that way because your attention is more spread out. If you want to increase your sell-through rate, shrink your store temporarily. Michelle, you might try that. Shrink your store for a little bit and see if you can maintain the same sales.
Yeah, that might.
Yeah, put more attention into the same listings. Theoretically.
Hey, Chris.
Yep.
You were saying a couple of days ago that you thought the pharma packs, maybe the guys aren't really making that much money. Is that just a hunch, or do you have inside information there?
I talked to pharma packs after I did the show. They actually called me, which is amazing. They have a PR person, Jezer, who said that I didn't misrepresent them, which is great. But they I will confirm for you, but I bet their margin's less than 5%. I would be surprised if it's more than 5% because it's chapstick and shampoo. They're selling it for like $7.99 shipped. But there's not, shipping is already $5 on that. There's not a lot left. Like, and the smartest seller, I had him on a private show when the Patreon calls were private. They operate at 1 or 2%, and they're the 15th largest FBA seller, and PharmaPax is number one. They operate at a 1% margin.
Wow.
And they do between 1 and 3 million a day. Freaking nuts. Those companies are insane.
Wow.
15,000 shipments a day. And they don't do FBA. They do they fulfill themselves usually. PharmaPax is 100% Amazon merchant fulfilled. That's crazy. I called them. That was the.
Is it really?
I did do one mistake, which was I said they sent their stuff into Amazon when they don't. They ship everything themselves.
Wow. Well,
That's all
with those low margins, they have to, really, don't they?
Yeah.
They can't afford to give up that Amazon for that FBA fee.
Yeah, maybe not.
That's their profit.
Mm-hmm.
See, I thought you meant that the owners weren't making that much money.
The owners have it's the same situation as Watch Me Amazon. They just take a salary and they have a piece of the company.
Mm.
They also did the same thing as the company Warby Parker, the eyeglasses company.
Mm-hmm.
When they started, like 8 of them put $100,000 in, and they spent. Okay, this is how crazy it is. They didn't even buy pens. That's a really cool story. If you guys look at that's how cheap they were with their money. They spent no money on themselves. They went to the bank, TD Bank, and got free pens and just free paper. And they started with like $800,000. They built that gigantic company to compete with lens crafters and like amazing. The idea of sending people 3 glasses, they pick one and send the other 2 back. They killed that market. And people don't. They were thinking at first, oh, we might get lucky and people will keep 2 or 3 pairs. That never happens. Mm-hmm. People always send back 2, but they figured it out. Yeah. Advancing Integrity is talking about economy of scale. They are just, smartest seller was saying, his name was Scott. He was saying they spend $60,000 a year because a bunch of Amazon sellers and him, they were tired of having no Amazon customer service for phone. So Scott and a bunch of other Amazon sellers pay the salary of the person that works at the Amazon. That's what it's for. Isn't that cool? They are like, no phone number is not acceptable. We need to be able to call somebody. So they worked it out with Amazon. They put their own person in there that just services them, a high volume helper. So it's just crazy looking at how e-commerce works. There's so many huge companies. And in Brooklyn, where PharmaPax and where Watch Me Amazon is, that like one zip code does 10% of all Amazon sales. That one neighborhood. So something in the water out there. People they move mountains there.
Chris, do you have a number of sellers that when you see on a listing that you will say is sort of a limit for if they have 5 sellers or 25 sellers or 10 sellers?
Oh, you mean on a listing?
Yeah, that would preclude you from getting in on the listing. In other words, it'd be too many.
I don't. It depends on each individual item. On a hot product, no. I can wait it out. But again, if I'm selling a one-off item on Amazon, it's usually long tail. So as long as it has good sales rank, I'm usually up. But again, that's a really generic question. Gina, I think it's I don't know the exact zip code, and I know Brooklyn is huge, but it's like where and Watch Me Amazon, one of his warehouses, the one that I was going to visit, is now in New Jersey. The one that he's doing the new content from is in a cheaper space in New Jersey. Let's see. Pagan Roots said attention deficit disorder. What about it? I think all resellers have ADD. It's hard because there's so many opportunities and so many squirrels to chase. Oh yeah, Bill's. I need to put down Bill's point, which Bill had mentioned that his eBay sales had tanked a little bit, but his Amazon sales had also grown. So we are in a weird bubble of reselling where, we can't let one plate fall. Try to just maintain as you add in another platform, because it's a lot easier to maintain than grow. Maintain over grow. Much easier to stay the same weight than lose weight or gain weight. It just requires a huge, huge commitment to change your status. Do you think PayPal will struggle because it's breaking off from eBay? No. PayPal is amazing. Elon Musk was a genius figuring that out. Let's see. So let me know in the chat, guys, if you guys have any questions you want us to address this evening. I'm going to summarize the 13 tips from earlier in the call again for people who are just joining now. Adjust and maintain your listings at lunch, 4% a day. Try the snowball death pile method, Dave Ramsey method of listing the easiest items first. Number 3, you get a 20-minute penalty if you change tasks. Number 4, keep a defect journal. This one really helped me out today. There was a pair of shoes missing a lace, and instead of wasting a bunch of time, I just moved on to the next one and wrote down missing lace and took care of it after.
I have a question on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you have a box of defects.
Mhm.
Do you schedule time to just go through all the defects, even though you know it's going to take a lot of time to fix them
Yeah.
all?
Yep. At the end
Of the day? Of that
of the
same
day.
day?
hmm
Okay.
But I think that's a good way to do it. But again, that might be a buffer day thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that concept because, as simple of a task as going on the eBay and buying an extra set of laces would have probably fried my momentum.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that being a buffer day thing. That's a good idea. Or that's a good distinction. There's something really satisfying about writing down the defect too. Because then it's just a checklist. I just have a clipboard. I also wrote down that I want to wear a mask and gloves when I'm handling defects. Because for me, oftentimes the defect is it's dirty. So I currently don't have any special gloves or anything, but I think that would make it more appetizing to knock out those defects. eBay is advising people to end all listings and relist them from scratch with new item specifics. Yeah, I agree. That is a little bit of a fee grab. Let's see.
Just a note on that. I use data mine for the. I think you had used it at one time, or maybe
I still have
you
it.
just had. Do you still have it? I've been noticing a lot more errors in the delist sell similar.
Oh.
If you go into the done area. So in the last few days, I have pretty much redone my entire store, delist sell similar, just because of all of the errors I was seeing. And it gives me basically, it's kind of stupid, but this is my clipboard of all of my listings. And I just printed them all out real quick so that I could go through and fix a lot of them. They changed a lot of the, or started requiring a lot more item specifics, where there's a lot of things that have changed. For example, the age. It never used to throw any error in the delist sell similar for the age. now it's starting to throw errors in the D-list sell similar, as well as some of the things like shoe sizes and widths starting to
Wow.
require the width, where there's a lot more now that it's looking for. So I do think there is something to that. But with the D-list sell similar, I'm basically being able to put out my entire list for myself, to go back and fix some of the listings. Um, Not to plug data mine. Well, no, I take that back. Wu Chun and Brooks are awesome, so I'd be more than happy to plug them because I use the heck out of their software.
They also have a great way to monitor fees. That's, in one of my opinion, one of the better. I'm trying to find my link for them. It's the D-list relist. I wish. Are you? Do they have an option now to do more than just 25?
um, I believe that it's mostly based off of your subscription level.
Okay.
I know that they can do more, but I believe that they're trying to kind of keep it at a dull roar because of the API fees. I know they have a large chunk of queries against that, but they are one of the only certified, so they want to stay that way and not get tagged as one of these spammy tools that's gaming the system.
Makes sense. I'm just gonna put it in the chat. Very cool for D-list, relist, and D-list, relist, and keeping track of numbers. Mike
Do you have
says,
your
"Go ahead."
link for the?
Oh, I don't have a link. You guys can just sign up for Data Mine. Brooks is a good friend. Brooks is also on this call all the time. He's just busy right now, so you guys will be welcome to ask him questions. There's some pretty big. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that. Never mind. Brooks will share the information on that company when it happens. Good stuff for Data Mine coming. I have a listing that I can't list. Oh, yeah, Myrna, that is a thing. You just have to go back and check the new item specifics. There are a lot of errors happening. Getting hit with the relisting fees adds up. There are a lot of resellers that are not okay with listing fees. I think it's the cost of doing business on eBay, but it sucks. I wish that they just charged a higher final value fee and just called it a day. I don't want to keep track of all these different fees, store subscription. Just charge 10% instead of 9. I don't understand. I still think they would make more money instead of confusing their customer, which is the seller. Yeah, Duncan is saying you have to watch your older listings like a hawk. I mean, I agree with that. That's why the top tip from last week, I think, is a schedule to adjust and maintain your listings each week because it's just a battle.
Chris,
Yep.
I have a question about ethics.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see anything wrong with seeing a successful store and essentially copying it?
No. It's not that easy, though. Because usually I would say straight up steal word for word what they're doing. If you want to achieve the same result, it totally makes sense to me. Like, as an example, Tech and Sports loves telling people that even if you imitate him, you can't do it. He's like, I tell you exactly how I do it, you still won't be able to do it because you won't have the focus that I do when I knock it out. I do all my photos all in a row of every single item I picked up that day. Nobody does that. Then I sit down at the coffee table and list every single item. Then I put everything away every day. Like, that's the formula, but can you really do it? So I don't know. That's a
He's in
really
Florida, right? Tech and
Yeah.
Sports.
He's in Florida, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so surprised that he can go out every day and not run out of similar items that he sells.
I know.
How can you go out every single day and source 70 to 100 items
Hmm.
of similar, because I think he does mainly shirts and hats,
Hmm.
sport related kind of things.
Hmm.
And you would think that after a week of going to all of them, he'd be picked over.
I know.
I don't
It's
know how he
amazing.
does it.
That's one of the reasons why he doesn't show his face.
Hmm.
He doesn't want to be recognized. I mean, like this is a scary story, but it's not competitive, but in Florida there are a lot of resellers. I say like California has a lot, Florida has a lot, Texas has a lot, or Illinois has a lot. But there are people that I can't believe this is happening to him. And I don't know what was going on, but people were damaging goods they knew he would be picking up. So that's one of the reasons why he is weary, trying to like because reselling is kind of competitive. So it seems like he's trying to protect his route. He probably has I know he goes to the same stores every day. So there must I don't think those are I would be surprised if those are thrift stores. I know he has the same route each day, but you're right. A thrift store would need to reset.
Or do you think that he has relationships with the managers of those stores that
He does.
they're picking things for him?
He has that, but my guess is some of those stores are probably the Goodwill outlet
Hmm.
because in order to get items every day, you would need to be a huge operation. How could you even do that? The Goodwill outlet nearest me gets 20 tractor trailers of clothing a day. And it's not even one of the it's like just an average Goodwill outlet. But think about how much and they are like one of the reasons why people hate Goodwill in the Bay Area is they landfill what they can't sell. So that's like an ethics issue built there in a sense that they're not providing it to necessarily people of need. They can't sell it, throw it away. It's kind of scary, but and there are also 5 Goodwill outlets within 2 hours of where I live.
Chris, I wanted to ask you, do you use or do you utilize the offers to watchers?
Only on Poshmark, I made a macro that does that, but not on eBay.
Oh, I use it on eBay and I get quite a few sales from that.
Okay. I don't like discounting my items, but I know it would work.
Hmm.
The thing that I want to understand is the exact ratio of like it sends it to. So, for example, let's say there's 20 watchers, then you send an offer on the next 5 people who watch the item. If you do it again, does it send it to just those 5?
No, you're only allowed to send one offer to a watcher. That's what I was told.
I see. Okay. Wow, Duncan in the chat does it every day.
Oh, I do it 10 times a day.
Wow.
I'm looking at least once an hour at who's watching my items, and I have at least 8 new watchers an hour, and I'll just send them all off an offer.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I mean, people are having just as expected, people are having varied results in the chat, which makes sense. So there's not going to be a, you know, straightforward answer on this one. It's going to work for some people and for some people it won't.
I suppose it would depend on your item. Yeah, what you're selling.
Hmm. Also, I want to point out how sensitive pricing is. I had another camera sell that didn't like I lowered the price $7 and it sold instantly. So like, but it's competitive. There are a lot of people selling the same camera. Gina says, I thought new watchers only get the current offer. Uh, that
Correct.
would match what Michelle says, which is just one per person. Goimers sends it out first thing every morning. I'm gonna add that to the list of tips for next week. You could maybe do that at the same time you adjust a few listings. Build it into your flow.
Would you send an offer if it's an item you just listed?
Duncan's doing that the same or the next day. I don't know.
It depends on how much I've got in it. I tend to price my items up a little bit. If you look at my store, you'd say pricing is my issue. But yeah, so I will send an offer to something I just listed.
Do you guys agree with this? No bad product, only bad pricing. I think there's bad product. Old Navy is bad. You wouldn't be able to. Can't resell Old Navy for very much
Lululemon.
money. eBay only allows it once every 48 hours. Let's see. Sustainable frugal living sends offers every 2 to 3 hours. That
Mhm.
seems like a lot of work.
Oh, it's really easy.
It's
Really,
easy.
yeah. Try it.
Let me try it right now. Let's see if it.
Go to your active
Open.
listings.
On your eBay, yeah, it's
Yep.
super easy.
Super easy. Go to your active listings, and then there's going to be a little tab that says send offers dash eligible, and then there's going to be a number in parentheses. Click on that tab.
This is scary because some of my items have 20 plus watchers. And I've never sent one before. Does it expire like if the watcher is really old?
No.
When you do like delist sell similar, it will kick them off, but it will tell them that you've put it up in a different way, or you've relisted it with a different name or a different number.
Yeah, you will lose your watchers when you end the listing and give it a new item number.
So some of them are not eligible. I wonder what the reason is.
I get that every once in a while. I think that's a little glitch.
Okay. Wow, more glitches. Let me see if there's a
Yeah, surprise.
surprise. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Here's one that works.
Yeah, and I usually put in the notes section, thank you for watching my item. Here's a little extra off of the price to sweeten the deal. Please like my store and check back often. I send it off to them.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, I can sort by. Do you guys sort by most watchers first? I have one with 32. This should sell, right? If there's that many people looking at it.
Well, it will tell you when you click on the send offers how many people it's going to send it to.
Okay, let me see. Here it says
Yeah, I put mine down in the watchers
how much
only
do you have to
pricing.
discount it?
I think at least 10%.
5% minimum.
5%.
It,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, when you type it in there, if you don't give it at least 5%, it'll pop up and say you've got to at least do it 5%.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. It's not saying how many. Oh, 10. I'm sorry, 10 interested buyers. Okay, let's try this one. So how come it's only 10 interested buyers, but there's 21 people watching? What would exclude someone?
Okay, so if you click on, are you still on that same page? Did you, or did you click the button that said send?
Send.
If you click on the little information circle right up to by send offers, it'll give you more information. Interested buyers have 48 hours to respond. Accept offers until all quantities are sold out. To send additional offers, the listing must have new interested buyers. So I don't know what the criteria is. I don't think anybody knows the criteria as to why they don't send it to all of them in your watchers list. If you've never sent them an offer before, you would think it would send it to all 30 of them, but obviously it's not.
Let's see. So I just tried lowering from 35 to 34, and it said that's not big enough of a discount. But it does tell you what the minimum discount is, which is nice.
Correct.
Let's make these move for summer. So what are you writing in your message?
Mine says, thank
Do
you
you,
for watching my item. Here's an offer to sweeten the deal. Please mark my store as a favorite and check back often.
oh, buyers can opt out of receiving send offers.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Oh, it's sold. That's fast. That's amazing. Well, I mean, it's 30 watchers, so it should sell. That's
you
amazing.
sold
Sold it, yeah.
it. It's gonna be your
So
new toy.
I I can see how it would get addicting, but I mean, mine's gonna be really cool because I have never done it before. So I can take the next hour and do all of my items if I want to, get some.
How
How
do you
many?
get there so quickly?
Hmm?
How do you get there so quickly?
You just go to the active listings, and then on the left, the caret, you can choose send offers as an option. Let's see. That's cool. So but I need to get a blurb to save time because the default is here's your chance to get this item at a great
Right,
price.
I don't do that.
That's
Yeah, I
not.
have in my sticky notes on my computer, I have a bunch of blurbs that I use for different things, and that's one of them. That I just put that in. I might change it up like once a month or something.
I'm not
How
able to
many-
pay. I'm not able to pay my rent. Here's your chance to get a really
Yeah,
great deal.
yeah.
Let me see if that.
My wife wants a bigger diamond ring.
I know.
How many did you have eligible for sending offers? Quite a
Uh,
few, I would
on
assume.
that one, 34. 34
No,
eligible. This one
um,
is 9. I had one with 70 watchers. That's the one that sold.
I mean total items, number of
Oh,
items that you
um,
send.
I could do 25, or I have 2,500 in this store that I could do. Let me see here.
Whoa.
Here's your chance to get a really good deal.
If you've got that many, then yeah, you should sort it by the number of watchers then on each item and do it that way.
Can you guilt them?
You can do whatever you want.
I put my life is in your hands. Let's see what they say. I never looked at this option because I figured I have a macro on Poshmark that automatically does it, and I
Mm.
love that. But this makes sense because you may have certain items that are, yeah. This
You
is
can pick
very.
and choose, if you want to stay steady on one of your, items, just don't send an offer. But you can scroll down and say, oh my gosh, I would really like to get rid of that. I'm willing to take a little bit less and send an offer and see if it bites.
I love this. 3 interested buyers. It's very clear. The only thing it's not clear about is your fees. It'd be easier to determine if you're going to do it or not if it tells you net this much money from this. But of
Correct.
course, they don't want to be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that they don't specifically point out is when you take an offer, when you send offers, you can't require immediate payment. So they have like 48 hours or something before or maybe it's 72 hours before they get the invoice from eBay saying, hey, you forgot to pay for this item. So that's another thing that, if people do try and game that. You're selling a super rare vintage XYZ, and there's only 2 up, yours and one other. Somebody will put in an offer on it, and they'll take it. Or anytime that there's an offer up on the table, it kind of, well, you've already seen that kind of stuff happen. So.
Another thing too is that if you're sending that offer to more than one person, it does tell them on the end user at the end buyer that this offer is being sent to more than one watcher. It tells
Ah,
in red because I got that because someone sent me an offer on something I was watching and it said that. That's the only reason I know that.
Huh. Oh, you're right. They didn't pay yet, so I can't offer. It's not like Poshmark where if they accept, it's done deal.
Right.
So it's not done. So I might. One of the reasons why I don't accept offers is because I don't want to wait for payment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. I wonder if there's some kind of a I wonder if there's some kind of a way to put in the message, do not accept if you don't pay immediately. I'm gonna definitely add that because I don't want to wait. I feel like accounts receivable is horrible, especially on eBay. Because you just take it off the market if they don't pay. And plus you have all those people who also got the offer.
Right.
You know, that's
Yeah,
like that's
that-
such a kick in the. Oh, I'm gonna add that. Do not pay unless you're because there's other people who receive this offer.
yeah. Or you can say, could you cancel the order? But then the offer would, because the offer
Oh,
goes away once the order is purchased by, accepted by someone, and you're only allowed to give one offer every 48 hours. Hmm. You'd have to think about that.
huh. That's hmm. Maybe you can put in there. My offer is $35, but I'll lower it to 34 if you pay immediately. Something to create some type of conversation with the person. Um, I wonder what it looks like to. Does somebody have an item that I can watch and then you send me? I wonder what does it look like from the buyer's end? I want to see what it looks like. Oh, Mary put that in the chat. If you are going to pay today, accept my offer. Yeah, you don't want to be mean to people.
I wouldn't put that.
Um, Offers do not lock out your item. Yeah, I just feel like if somebody accepted the offer, the other people wouldn't be able to buy it. Oh, let me put it in here. So guys, if you have yeah, oh, Third Coast Hustle, that's great. If you put you can send the offer, let's say it's $40, you send an offer out for 35, then change it to 35 after you send the offer. And just say or you could change the offer to even better. So let's say you want to discount a $40 item to 35, you could send an offer for 38 because I think that qualifies as a 5% discount, or 37, and then put in the chat, I'm really aggressively trying to move this item. I'm actually lowering the buy now price to 35, first come first serve. Now you have like a lot of urgency trying to get them to take.
But if somebody accepted the offer at 38 first, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Right, you'd
You're
have to be
sending
quick.
that offer out and that's a live offer. So
Oh, actually, can you do that? Can you lower the price below the offer? I'm going to try that right now.
I
Okay.
believe you can.
Oh, you can. Interesting. What can you? All right, let me see if you can raise the price. You could also do reverse
Anytime
psychology.
there's
Go ahead, Tyre.
anytime there's
One,
active offers out, it kind of locks the item into that particular price. I don't know about reducing it, but I know that anytime that there's an active offer out, or somebody has an active offer coming in, I should say, whenever there's a, if you look at your listings and there's one with an open offer from a buyer, like, they offered you $15 on a $20 item, uh, you can't edit that listing at all until you deal with the offer.
Yes, correct.
It let me change the pricing on PC, lower and above. Justin says that you can't change it until it expires. That might be a mobile thing.
You know, one thing you might want to think about, because you can put anything you want in your message to the offer. You can say, you know, for a limited time, I'm giving you this offer, but I also have this item listed on other platforms, and it will not be taken down unless the item is actually paid for.
Hmm.
So that way, if you have it on Poshmark, you will leave it up there, because that's what I'll do. If somebody buys an item and doesn't pay me, I'll send them a note and I'll say, thank you for purchasing my item. Just so you know, I also have this listed on other platforms, and I'm not going to take it down until I get payment from you. If it happens to sell on another platform, I'm going to cancel this order because they haven't paid. I want them to pay.
Huh. You can't change the description. Yeah, that's true. After you send an offer. You can't change the title either, I think, right? There are certain grayed out fields. You can't do that. Let's see. I like this. I'm gonna try a few more.
Yeah, play around with it,
I'm gonna
see
play with
if
it.
it works for you.
I
You know,
haven't had a I haven't really had an issue with sell-through rate. I'm like right at 20 something percent, but if I it always makes me wonder, how high could my sell-through rate be if I really tried to optimize? And because I feel like you kind of want to price 5% too high and have the offer to watchers part of your strategy, because if it's working like it does and people get a notification, it's very hard to get into the notification on someone's phone. Very challenging. And Poshmark is so annoying that I have all notifications turned off, even as a buyer. But eBay, I'm not really, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys shop a lot on eBay? I shop on eBay once a month.
I shop pretty regular on I'll try and go to eBay actually before I'll go to Amazon.
Hmm.
Depends.
Buyers feel desperation. Maybe. Oh, Lisa's saying you can change the price, but maybe the buyer can't see it. That that would be confusing if that is the case.
Yeah, you'll have to play around with it, see how you like it.
Yeah, I have to see. So far, I'm surprised. But I mean, I'm surprised how many people have it blocked. Out of 70 something watchers, only 30 something received it. So I can see not wanting to be in. I mean, I have certain SKUs. There's a pair of shoes that I keep buying, and every day the save listing pings me. So I'm already okay with that notification coming to me. But I don't really watch items. I just buy it or not buy it. I do the saved search. Um,
Chris, do you have concierge service?
I have merchant support, but I think it's similar.
It would be a question, because I don't think that the buyers are actually blocking the offers.
Hmm.
I think there's something else going on, that it doesn't meet a certain criteria for eBay for you to send them an offer. And I don't know what that is, but that would be a good question if you can talk to somebody that knows something about the offer to watchers.
All right, I'm gonna ask because that definitely worked for me.
Yeah,
Offer
let
to
me know.
watcher.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
So I'm sorry. Offer to watcher is offer to watcher. We want to know why does it not go out to all watchers? We need to find out exactly why.
Or the numerous reasons why.
Jean or Jeannie Allred. Jean. Jeannie, is saying that the algorithm doesn't choose all of them. I think there's probably a more specific answer than that.
Yeah, the Cassini just chooses who it wants.
So I'm going to give a pro tip here. Sustainable Frugal Living is asking if anyone has success with the eBay codeless coupon. So meaning you send your eBay previous buyers a code into your store that gives them a discount, that special discount. I've had more luck sending an affiliate code for eBay Partner Network. So what I'll do is I'll go to the front page of eBay and find out something that's really hot, because sometimes they'll sell a Dyson $400 vacuum for $250 or something on the deal of the day. I will send an affiliate link for that, and I have made up to $50 a month from that, from them buying somebody else's product, and I get a piece of it. You get a 24-hour cookie, meaning if they buy anything, I think it might be 30 days, 30-day. Actually, let me just look it up. So I stopped making stuff up. I wonder how long the cookie is for eBay Partner Network.
Yeah, Duncan is saying, Chris, send all
24
offers
hours.
to watchers you have and tell us how many you sell.
That
And
might
how
be
many
scary. It would take me a long time to do it.
But just do your top 20.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do them all. I will do them all over a little bit. I mean, over the next week or so, I'll do it all, because I'm curious. What if I have like my biggest week ever? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and you're constantly going to be getting new ones every day, every hour, as people start watching your items more and more and more. They'll just refresh.
The cookie is 24 hours, guys. I was thinking, because affiliate income is the coolest income ever, because you didn't have to fulfill the product, and eBay upped their game. They're paying between 1% and 6% now, so they'll give you a decent commission. What they're doing is they're splitting the final value fee with you. So if I refer Michelle's product using an eBay affiliate code and somebody buys it, nothing on your end, it's the same, but I get to keep half the money you pay to eBay. So I was thinking about going to like the SFO airport and being like, hey, everybody, you just arrived at SFO. You should use Amazon Prime for these popular travel items, and somehow like putting up an ad somewhere at the airport. Because when you travel, you need here we have Prime Now, which is like an hour. You can get an Amazon delivery in an hour. So you could be ordering sunblock, whatever popular travel items are. I don't know where to put that ad, but if it was at the airport, I bet it would convert, because you get anything that they buy within 24 hours. Balto wants me to do a time lapse. I need to learn how to do that. I did want to eBay open, but time lapses are really cool. Okay, so I didn't realize Don, the auction professor, does that. People want me to do some shows with him he sells a lot of really cool items, and I need to probably do a series with him to go over the different bolos, because that guy has been selling a long time. He knows a lot. When you send offers, they normally pay within 24 hours. That's awesome.
Yeah, I personally have not had anybody not pay on my offer to watchers.
Okay.
I've had people not pay when I have best offer on and they send me an offer and I take it. And I have a feeling that they weren't expecting me to take the offer. So then I don't know, don't pay.
Wow, so many watchers. How do I do this properly without seeming? I want to really. Okay, here we go. This is
Think about your message.
How do I get people to immediately convert without seeming desperate? Have I seen Amazon's option to deliver to your trunk? I haven't, but here they deliver right to your door, even in an apartment complex. I don't know. I actually am uncomfortable with that. Why does Amazon have a key to my building? That's kind of scary. I don't know.
Maybe in your message to your watchers, to your offers, You could put, I'm having a great day. I want you to have a great day too. I don't know, something along those lines. You know, like it's all good.
Prime time. Who is Prime Time? Dominic, the Prime Time reseller? I don't know him.
He does a lot of comic books and stuff, more collectible, uh, mostly comic books, but he does do some action figures, etc. He's on with Dawn quite a bit.
Okay. I'm gonna see. Okay, I'll text Don tomorrow. Let me see. Walmart is coming up with a grocery delivery service that delivery people will go into your house and put it in your fridge. Oh wow, that's I'm sure that they will do that. All right, guys, I'm gonna go pick up my wife. Thank you so much for joining. If you guys want to join the Patreon call, you can at patreon.com/dailyrefinement. I am no longer doing the mastermind calls in a sense that I was trying to keep people more accountable with their goals, but it's too hard. So I want everybody to come up with a weekly income goal, how much money you want to make, come up with your schedule. And then the key is performing at your best, even when you feel like not working. That's the hack that everyone needs to figure out. So appreciate everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow or tomorrow evening. Take care.